What's up guys, it's Pio. Here are in-game features that Counter-Strike and Valorant should take from each other. Starting with Valorant's ranking system. Valorant's matchmaking has its flaws for sure, but it's still miles ahead compared to Counter-Strike's suboptimal system. The main issues with CS's matchmaking would be the lack of transparency on your rank rating, the little incentive to play it, and lastly, cheating. These three problems are the reason why third-party platforms such as Faceit exist. While having a better matchmaking service is nice to have, it further splinters the community and places a barrier for new players to overcome. So if Valve were to take inspiration from Valorant's matchmaking system, they would implement some sort of ELO or MMR tracker that makes it infinitely times easier to track progress and rank ups. Though it brings up the question of whether Valve will follow a model similar to Faceit's ELO or Valorant's rank rating. The key difference between the two is that Valorant also considers personal performance for the rating gained or lost, whereas Faceit is solely outcome based. CS can also further incentivize players to use matchmaking by having a leaderboard system and seasonal rankings. The leaderboard system will encourage top players to grind matchmaking because they have the opportunity to show up in the in-game leaderboards and get recognized if they hit certain ranks. I've also mentioned the seasonal rank similar to an act triangle. I think this is a quality of life feature to showcase your progress, as this rank also resets periodically, meaning you have to play placements at the start of every season. I believe that this is a better system than CS's current rank decay feature that resets your rank only if you're inactive. Though a leaderboard and visible elo would only revitalize matchmaking if and only if there was a more intrusive anti-cheat in place. While we already have VACnet and Trust Factor, I still think that CS would greatly benefit from a stronger anti-cheat similar to Faceit or Vanguard. The fact that Valorant players don't really mind how Vanguard operates should tell you that an intrusive anti-cheat can also be feasible in Counter-Strike. From the recent reports, Valve is working on VAC Live, which has the ability to cancel ongoing matches with a convicted cheater. This sounds promising and a step in the right direction, though I hope this feature also comes with general improvements to the current anti-cheat. By revamping the in-game matchmaking, the CS community will rely less on third-party PUG providers such as Faceit, ESPortal, Gamers Club, and 5e. It would also lower the barriers between casual and competitive players. Moving to another feature that Valorant does well, in-game tournaments. It is a good way of promoting the competitive side of the game to the general player base. In Valorant's premier game mode, anyone can form a team and participate in weekly matches that eventually lead up to a playoff bracket. Riot also aims to integrate this tournament system into its general competitive circuit. It would be really nice if CS had a feature like Premier, and similar to Valorant, CS can have multiple skill divisions for teams to work their way up. This would be highly beneficial for small competitive regions that have little representation or opportunities. For instance, NA or APAC competitive players will be more encouraged to form teams and compete now that there are more regular tournaments that are developer supported and can serve as a path to the higher leagues. Another thing that Valorant does well is it streamlines the buy mechanics and even allows for refunds. CS can also implement it, oh wait, they're already planning on doing it. Though another thing they can add would be the ability to buy for teammates through the menu. However, many players that are resistant to changes would disagree, and CS already has a manual drop feature, so this mechanic will probably not be added. Moving on, Valorant gives its users more freedom and convenience when it comes to crosshair customization. For instance, they have additional options such as inner-outer line opacity and thickness, dot thickness, outline opacity, separate inner line length, firing error multiplier, fade crosshair on firing error, and crosshair profiles for easier switching. These are more of a quality of life change, but it would be cool if CS offered more crosshair customization options like Valorant. Now let's go over the opposite side of the spectrum by talking about what CS features should Valorant take. I could blabber endlessly on this topic, but I'll keep it to the features that I think won't alienate the game too much because Valorant prides itself on being unique. Valorant should have its own community workshop and map-making tools, and this would be largely beneficial in two aspects: the map pool and the practice tools available. I think many of us can agree that Valorant's maps are kinda whack and purposely gimmicky, but if the game wants to improve its map pool, it should also consider getting input from the community's map makers. If there was a map workshop, the community can try and test out different maps to pick out the most competitively viable. Having a workshop also opens the possibility for better improved practice tools such as pre-fire and aim maps. With this, there are more options when practicing and you won't be limited to playing the range or deathmatch when trying to hone your mechanics. Valorant should also have its own replay system like CS. While the community has been asking for a replay system for years now, Valorant is yet to deliver. Though if it were to be implemented, the feature would greatly help the competitive scene, the serious players, and the content creators. It will be easier for pro players and teams to analyze and learn from their matches, and this resource will make anti-stratting and learning more accessible as compared to paying for a third-party provider or watching stream VODs. For serious players, it will be easier to improve since they can VOD review and learn from their own matches or pro demos if they want. Demos can also improve content creation as it gives more options to frag movie editors and educational creators. Just imagine the improved depth in tutorial videos if content creators had the ability to go into specific details in a demo that they normally couldn't catch by just watching stream VODs. Now moving to more quality of life features Valorant should get from CS. Valorant should have the option to call timeouts in ranked games. This would enable teams to resolve any technical issues or wait for a teammate to reconnect without being penalized too much. Having a timeout also gives players an option to strategize if they prefer, but if they don't want, they can use it for a bathroom or smoke break. Another quality of life feature would be side-based skins. CS allows its players to equip a different skin for guns offered on both sides. This allows for skin variety on weapons such as the Deagle, Scout, Op, and the Knife. This feature is also fitting for Valorant and they can allow different skin loadouts or bundles on attacking and defending. It adds more customizability for the players, and on Riot's end, they can further increase their skin sales. And for the last quality of life feature, more bind options. The two things I can think of right now would be a jump throw and a toggle view model bind. While CS plans on phasing this jump throw bind out eventually, I still think Valorant should consider adding it. Certain agents have projectile-based abilities that would benefit from this mechanic. The prime examples would be Viper's Poison Cloud and KO and KJ's grenades. The manual jump throws are possible in Valorant, but they can be tricky and somewhat inconsistent, so having this bind helps minimize said variances. I also mentioned the toggle view model bind. The suggestion is more for aesthetic reasons and the ability to freely move the view model before you peek at something. So that pretty much wraps up my video on what features CS and Valorant should get from each other. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more CS content. If there are additional features that you guys would like to see in either game, please feel free to discuss them in the comments. I'll see you all in the next one. I'm head out.